They say history remembers the big disasters, the fires, the floods, the crashes, but the small tragedies, the quiet ones, those get erased. And if you ask most people today about the orphan trains of the early 1900s, they'll shrug. But what happened in 1912? What happened on orphan train number 47? That should never have been forgotten. My name is Eric Dalton. I'm a historical archivist, which basically means I dig through old records people assume don't matter. But 3 months ago, I received an anonymous email with one sentence. If you want the truth, go to Lockwood Station. Attached was a single photo, a black and white image of an old train car sitting on a siding, half-rotted, surrounded by dead trees. On the window, someone had scratched the number 47. Under it, in faint handwriting, "We never arrived." I should have deleted the email, but instead, curiosity took hold. And now, I wish I had never opened it at all. Lockwood Station used to serve as a stop for orphan relocation trains in the early 1900s. Trains that took parentless children from crowded New York shelters to rural families across the country. Some families were kind, others weren't. But Train 47 never made it to its destination. The official record said it derailed in a storm. No survivors, except no bodies were ever recovered. When I arrived at the abandoned station, the place looked frozen in time. The wooden platform groaned under my weight. Rusted lanterns swung in the wind. And there, at the far end of the track, was the train car from the photo, exactly where the email said. I walked closer, camera rolling. Every step felt heavier than the last. The car was covered in moss and soot. Windows shattered. The metal bent inward, like it had been crushed by something massive. But as I approached, something strange happened. The air got colder. Not winter cold. Not weather cold. A sudden, deep freeze like stepping into a freezer. I pushed open the corroded door. It screeched loud enough to echo across the empty trees. Inside, rows of tiny wooden benches lined the walls. Children's names were carved into the wood. Anna, Caleb, Mary. The air smelled like old paper and wet earth. But what struck me were the suitcases. Dozens of them. Small, child-sized, still neatly placed under the benches, as if waiting to be picked up. Then something else caught my attention. A faint dragging sound at the far end of the car. I lifted my flashlight. A figure stood at the back, small, motionless. A girl, maybe 9 years old. Her hair was braided, her dress torn, her skin pale like chalk. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking at the window, at something outside. "Hello," I whispered. She didn't react. When I stepped closer, she slowly lifted her hand and pointed out the window. I turned my flashlight toward the glass, and for a split second, I saw movement. Another small figure running past in the trees. Then the flashlight flickered out. I froze. The dragging sound grew louder, closer. I backed toward the door, trying not to panic. When the flashlight came back on, the girl was gone, but carved where she had been standing were 4 words. "They took us alive." That was the moment everything changed. I stumbled out of the car and nearly ran straight into an older man standing on the platform. Gray beard, sunken eyes, dirty jacket. He looked like he'd been waiting there all night. "You're not supposed to be here," he rasped. "I'm researching Train 47, I said. His face went pale. "That train didn't crash," he whispered. "It stopped here, in Lockwood. They let the children off to stretch their legs. But something came from the woods, something that wasn't human." "Like an animal?" I asked. He shook his head violently. "No animal walks upright. No animal mimics voices. No animal knocks on windows asking to be let in." His voice cracked. "Those children didn't die. They were taken. Every single one." I didn't believe him. I didn't want to believe him. But then he said something that made my blood run cold. "You saw the girl, didn't you? The one in the braid." "How did you?" "She appears to everyone who gets too close to the truth. She's trying to warn you." Before I could ask anything else, he pointed a shaky finger back toward the train car. "Did you hear them yet?" he whispered. "Hear who?" "The children. At night. They still call for help." I left. I practically ran to my car. But as much as I wanted to go home and forget this ever happened, I couldn't. There were too many unanswered questions. So I dug deeper. I tracked down the last surviving worker from the orphan train program, a 94-year-old woman named Mrs. Langley. When I asked her about Train 47, she didn't deny it. In fact, she seemed relieved that someone finally asked. "You won't find it in any official records," she said, gripping her cane tightly. But there was a rumor that the conductor ignored warnings from local tribes. They told him the woods near Lockwood were cursed, that children who entered never came back. "What kind of curse?" I asked. She leaned in. "It calls to the lonely," she whispered, "especially children." She said the forest was once home to an orphanage that burned down in the late 1800s. The children who died there, dozens of them, were said to roam the woods, desperate for someone to join them. They lured the living with familiar voices, familiar faces, and when they took someone, they never returned them. I didn't want to believe her story, but everything connected. The abandoned car, the carvings, the girl in the braid. Still, I needed undeniable proof. So I returned to Lockwood Station one last time. The station was darker this time, the sky covered in thick clouds. As I stepped onto the platform, I heard it, faint at first, then clearer. Children laughing, but it wasn't playful. It was slow, distorted, wrong. I raised my camera and walked toward the train car. The air grew colder again. My breath came out in white plumes. Then a small hand pressed against the foggy window from inside. I froze. Another hand appeared. Then another, and another. Dozens of tiny hands, pressing against the cracked glass. I backed away slowly, but the door suddenly slammed open so hard it shook the platform. My flashlight flickered wildly, and then I saw her, the girl with the braid, standing in the doorway. This time, her eyes were completely black, her mouth opened slowly, impossibly wide. "Come with us," she whispered. "We're so lonely." The hands pushed harder against the windows. The metal groaned. The wood splintered. I ran. I didn't stop until I reached my car. The engine barely started, but when it did, I floored it. In the rearview mirror, I saw the train car shaking violently, as if something inside was trying to break free. When I got home, I checked my footage. Most of it was static, except one clip, the very last one my camera recorded before I ran. It showed the girl standing inches from my lens, her face distorted, whispering something too soft to hear. I boosted the audio. What she said still haunts me. "We never made it home, but you will." I stopped the clip. My hands were shaking. Then my computer screen flickered. Static. Then a grainy image appeared. The inside of train car 47, shot from a high angle, like a security camera. The children were sitting in their seats, swaying gently, as if the train was moving. Then, one by one, they turned to look directly at the camera, directly at me. The clip ended. That was 2 nights ago. And now, every time I close my eyes, I see the girl with the braid standing at the foot of my bed. She whispers the same thing every night. "You shouldn't have come looking for us." If this video ends suddenly, if I stop uploading, then you'll know Train 47 found me, just like it found them.